I'll tell you my favorite storyline growing up. I think it was when I very first started getting really into the business in Oklahoma, and Danny Hodge and Angelo Savoli. The Savoli family is a very famous family in our business there. Angelo was a patriarch of it, and Angelo and Danny Hodge, the match got so hot, the angle got so hot that Danny's dad jumped in the ring with a knife and sliced Angelo open. And Danny tried to save Angelo, went over to his dad. And Dad was so berserk on it. He accidentally sliced Danny. Danny had to get like 80 stitches in it. But
that's funny to you. That's
terrifying.
terrifying.
I mean, that part wasn't, but just the question, some of the rivalries. That was the most intense rivalry, and also the late great Jody Hamilton and Tom Ernesto, the Assassins, against the Kentuckians, who was Jake Roberts' dad, Grizzly Smith, who is not well thought of nowadays, but back then he was a legend in the business, and rightfully so because he's good. And Big Boy Brown, the Kentuckians, against the Assassins. It was the most bloody, violent thing I'd ever seen up to that time in my entire life. So those two things there stuck with me, obviously, all through my life and all through my career. And then Hodge and Savoli, that was part of my all-time favorite angle that I witnessed as a kid. That really got me hooked on professional wrestling.
Yeah, when I was in high school, that's when the Freebird Von Erich rivalry kicked off. And I grew up watching Fritz. And so I remember when Kevin debuted, David debuted, Kerry debuted, and then all of a sudden it got really hot. I didn't know it got hot because I'd always been watching. You always assumed there was a full crowd there. You didn't know. And then all of a sudden that rivalry with the Freebirds got rocking. And it was just amazing. It was so fun to watch.
Very
John,
cool.
you had a mullet back then too, right?
It was a dual level cut. Yes.
Dual level.